I'm Liz Burrell, and this is the Big Green Egg Grilling Show. Each week, we bring you something new in the world of grilling, roasting, smoking, and baking, along with tips, tricks, and of course, great cooking segments. During each show, we'll teach you how to season or flavor your cooks, introduce you to the new Big Green Egg accessories and how best to use them, and we will answer some questions sent in from various social media channels, as well as questions sent to mailbag@biggreenegg.com. And I think we got some pretty good ones this week. So Mike from Aspen asks, what is dirty smoke? That's a very good question, and it's funny because I've got a little bit of dirty smoke coming out of my egg right now. Now, dirty smoke happens when you first light your egg, and maybe you cooked something that had a lot of drop off the last time. Maybe you did a really long cook, and you just have to kind of clean your egg out. So the dirty smoke is what happens when your egg is not ready to cook yet, because it is a self-cleaning oven. So you're going to see this really, really dark gray color smoke coming out of your regulator. You're looking for a very, very light blue or clear smoke coming out of your regulator. That's when you know it's time to cook. Now, when you're using wood chips or chunks, you're going to see some of that dirty smoke at the beginning, and once again, you want to wait until you see this light, very clear, clean smoke. If you try to cook with dirty smoke, your food is going to taste, well, like dirty smoke. So our second question is Lacey from Savannah. I just got my first egg. What should I start off trying to cook first? Another good question. So when you first get your egg, it's really best to start with basic things and kind of get your feet wet with your egg and get comfortable with your egg. Watch some cooking videos. Come take a class with me here at the Big Green Egg Culinary Center and just get used to it. This is a different kind of way of cooking. It's the ultimate cooking experience, but it is very different than cooking on a normal gas grill. I think this is 10 times better, but I'm a little biased. So just get your feet wet, do chicken wings, maybe do some bratwurst, hot dogs, steaks, chicken, basic things, and then maybe pizza. Definitely watch some videos. We'll have a pizza video here in the next couple episodes, so you can kind of try that, but don't waste your time and try a brisket the first time that you get your egg up to temperature. Don't do a pork butt. Wait until you have the basics down and then move on to the more complicated things. So that's it for our mailbag questions today. Let's move on to our recipe. For today's recipe, we are going to do a smoked ham frittata. Now, this ham I smoked a few days ago. I had some left over, so I'm trying to think, what's something fun that I can do with this smoked ham other than just eat it as is, which is delicious no matter what. But I thought, a frittata might be nice, and it's kind of healthy, it's fresh, it's very summery and kind of spring-like. So we are going to start off with 2 cups of chopped smoked ham, 1 leek rinsed and chopped. You want to make sure that you rinse your leeks really, really well because they have sand and other dirt inside the leaves. So when you chop it, make sure you rinse it in a colander and let it sit for a second. Then we have 1/2 cup sweet onion minced, 3 tablespoons of butter, 2 russet potatoes peeled and chopped into small pieces, 1/2 cup of crumbled goat cheese, 8 whole eggs, 1/2 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, 1 cup of heavy cream, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, and 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. So we have our eggs set up at 400 degrees indirect, and we already have our Big Green Egg cast iron skillet on the egg heating up. You want to make sure that you heat your cast iron up prior to trying to put anything into it. It's going to be cold. It's going to take a lot longer time. So while you're doing your prep, make sure that your cast iron is in your egg. So it is nice and hot. I am going to grab one of my heat gloves here so I can pull it forward a little bit. And we are going to start with our 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 3 tablespoons of butter. Just kind of move that around, make sure the pan gets coated. And then we are going to put our russet potatoes into the pan. So we're going to give it a stir. Make sure that the potatoes are covered this is really what's going to take the longest to cook out of anything else that we have here. We are going to put our sweet onion in there with the potatoes and our leeks. Now it looks like a lot right now, but this is going to cook down once the onions and the leeks sweat out some of the liquid that they hold in them, and this is going to give a really nice even flavor. So now we're going to move on to our egg mixture. We are going to put our shredded cheddar cheese into our eggs. And I'm going to give it a nice whisk here. You can use a whisk or a fork to do this, and you really want to make sure that you get a lot of air bubbles in this egg mixture. That's going to make it a lot fluffier, a better texture frittata, really. So I think we're about there. See all those beautiful bubbles that we have in the bowl? That's what we're looking for. All right, so now we're going to add our heavy cream and give it another whisk. Make sure that this is really well incorporated. Shouldn't be able to see any, differentiation between the heavy cream and the eggs. All right, and let's season with our salt here. And some black pepper. Give it another whisk. All right, now we're just waiting on our leeks and our onions and our potatoes to cook down. It's been about 10-15 minutes. Sometimes those potatoes, they just don't want to cook as fast. That's why we do really small pieces when we do a frittata. So make sure that they're soft before you put your egg mixture in. We're at about 10 minutes here. Our onions and our potatoes have sweated down nicely, and now we're just going to kind of flatten it out to make an even layer on the bottom of our pan, and we're going to add our egg mixture to the pan. And now our smoked ham. Even it out a little bit. And now we're going to let this cook for about another 10 minutes or until we see the edges of our frittata kind of brown and toasted, and make sure that the middle of our frittata is not jiggly. And while we do that, we're going to hop into our tips from the experts for this week. So when you first get your big green egg, I'm sure that you're wondering, where should I put it? Where is it safe to store? You really want it to be in a safe, non-flammable table or in a rolling nest and on concrete or a porch. Now the area may be covered, but higher ceiling and open walls is necessary since the egg produces a lot of smoke and gets very hot. It's not meant for an enclosed area unless you have industrial vents. So that's your egg tip for today. Let's hop into our frittata and put our goat cheese on the top. It looks like we're doing really nicely. You see how the edges have kind of puffed up? That's where those air bubbles that we whisked into it come into play. And that's exactly what I want to see. Now we're going to let it cook for about another 5 minutes or so with the goat cheese on top. Make sure that it kind of gets a little melty into the frittata. And the goat cheese just gives it an extra really creamy texture in your mouth that's wonderful. All right, another 5 minutes and then we will be done, and we're going to let it rest for 10 minutes before we slice into it. I'm really excited about this recipe, and I hope you are too. It's been about 10 minutes since we last looked at our smoked ham frittata, and it is done and ready to be pulled off the egg. It is sizzling. It's got a beautiful kind of golden outer crust here, and you can see that it's set. It is not jiggly in the middle, and that's exactly what we were looking for. So now we're just going to let this sit for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to slice into it and give it a taste. So our frittata is finished. It's gorgeous. It smells so unbelievably delicious. So let's go ahead and cut into it. And we are going to use our pizza server here, which you could use for pie, but in this case, the frittata. Oh man, look at how beautiful that looks. That is absolutely gorgeous. It is perfect. Now I like the crispy brown edges, so I'm going to take a little bit of a bite from the edge here. That is so flavorful, so delicious, easy, and healthy to boot. And you know what? If you can't think of something to do for dinner one night, this is something that you can do for dinner and throw whatever you want in it. You could throw asparagus in there, brisket, pork butt, ground meat, anything you want. This is a very, very versatile dish. I hope that you've enjoyed my smoked ham frittata. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that I've inspired you to cook something at home that you're passionate about. If you're not an egger yet, head to biggreenegg.com where we have home delivery and can set you up with a dealer in your area. See you next time when we come up with another special recipe just for you.
There's a place where fire and flavor are celebrated. Grill it, roast it, smoke it, or bake it. It's the most versatile grill you'll ever own. Have it delivered to your door by a certified dealer in your community and start enjoying the ultimate cooking experience. Visit biggreenegg.com.